may not be the smallest camera in the world, but it certainly is the smallest combination of camera, studio, and darkroom. That's my photograph taken, so perhaps I look a bit more smart tonight than I usually am. Now, your problem for today. What you wanted to do is really something quite simple. That's to take a photograph. Unfortunately, you won't have a camera, and you won't have a darkroom. The only things you will have is a normal egg-raised kit, a few chemicals, a packet of photographic paper, and a plastic lens or two. Now, towards the end of the program, what we would like you to do is for each team to take a photograph of a section of the audience and to produce a positive print as quickly as possible. Now, your performance will be judged on how quickly you can do it, the quality of the print, artistic merit, and the quality of your engineering. So go and get fixed. I must say, I rather like that. I think I'll have another one.
A plate holder at a fixed distance behind.
In order to make that the fastest way.
Yes, so that you could actually walk like a hen, walk like a child walking a playpen.
Right.
But in fact, there's nothing to prevent you doing your processing right where you take the photograph from.
Except, yes, the only thing is you've got to get the temperature. Why are they bothered about that? Because they've got a darkroom light. We can see what's happening.
Now,
yes,
you've had a few seconds to recover from the shock. What do you think about it?
Excellent.
You think there's going to be no problem?
It's like I used to take photographs when I was a kid.
All right. Now, you're called Analog Devices. Tell me something about your company. What do you do? What do you
I
make?
think you better ask the
All right. What do you make?
manager.
we make analog data conversion equipment of various sorts, amplifiers, analog to digital converters, electronics, mostly chip form, but some
Or little
modules.
black boxes. I see no member.
Little silicon chips, but analog chips, not digital chips.
Now, who are you? Give me your name.
James Bryant.
And what sort of things do you do?
I'm the European Applications Manager. I tell people how to use those chips.
And you?
I'm Tremont, and I'm the European Marketing Manager, and I try to sell those chips.
Okay, important function.
I'm always known as BK. I'm a consultant physicist to the organisation.
Well, you seem to be a nicely balanced team. Good luck. See how you develop.
So, yeah, in fact, the camera's relatively going to be quite easy.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Of course, you're in the black and white business, aren't you? Putting black print on white paper.
Yes, we are, and full colour too.
Well, I mean, we weren't asking to make colour photograph this time. Tell me who you are.
I'm Chris Little, a camera operator.
I'm Nigel Kingston, Studio Design Manager.
I'm Alan Stacey, I'm Nigel's assistant.
And how many of you have got cameras at home? Take pictures.
I have, yes. Mine's out of action at the moment, though.
But you aren't into the processing business at home?
No.
Well, let's see how you do.
Thank you.
Is this? No, that's not light-proof.
No, that's no good.
We've got the beer cans here. Yeah, those will be okay. Use that.
The lens will fit in the end there. Yes,
Yes.
that's good. You need something else to slide in and out for focusing.
Well, can we use another beer can?
How different are the diameters? We'll have to cut the end off and
So
try
we
it.
might have to cut one off.
Yes, we could
We've got
experiment.
some cans like that.
They're a bit large. Maybe use some blackout
If we use
material
some
for
of-
filling.
We'll use some of this. This may go around it. Can you wrap that round?
Yes.
Yeah, if we wrap that around the can.
Can I just distract you for a moment from your contemplation of beer cans? LBMS sounds like some sort of country railway line.
No, we're computer consultants.
What does the LBMS
Well, it
bit
stands
stand
for Learmonth and Burchett Management Systems.
I see.
It doesn't best mean a lot.
Well, I can imagine it at least.
Yes.
Now, who are you?
Well, I'm Jeff Jones. I'm the consultants at LBMS. I specialise in training and assisting our clients, sorting out their problems on how to design systems.
Well, I hope you assist your colleagues today.
Yes. Is Mike?
I'm Mike Imber, and I'm working on producing software on micros to actually support some of the methods we use.
And I'm
You?
Nick Jones, and I work in the same area as Mike. Software development.
How about photography as a hobby? Have you got cameras?
Yes.
Yes,
and
all of us.
all of us.
Yes.
So at least you
And
have some
darkroom.
inkling of how photography might be managed.
Yes, I do quite a bit of my own darkroom work too. So.
Now, I see you're fondling a beer can now.
Yes, well, we're just sort of looking at this as a possibility for actually mounting the lens. It's not rather
By
just
sheer
a
serendipity.
convenient,
It happens to find the
convenient-sized
possible
aperture. So we're just contemplating whether we can arrange for this to slide.
to make a
Perhaps on
focusing
another beer can
mechanism.
or something of that nature.
Well, that seems a good start.
Okay.
Right. So
Right.
what do we do next?
Components. we need?
Camera?
A camera.
Darkroom?
Can we use one of those boxes for
Darkroom.
darkroom?
Yes.
Yes, they're promising. Some form of tripod to support the camera. Do we need a film
Dark
slide?
slide? With greaseproof paper. Take that slide
Whilst the
out.
teams are getting down to some serious planning, let me introduce today's guest judge, Brian Coe. Brian Coe is a leading authority in the history of photography. For many years, he was curator of the Kodak Museum in Harrow, and more recently, he's become curator of the collection of the Royal Photographic Society in Bath. Welcome, Brian. Now, Brian, what special items have you given our teams today?
Well, the heart of any photographic process is the sensitive material on which the picture is captured. So they have conventional photographic paper, which will give them a head start.
Which is used in enlargement now.
Yes, to make ordinary print. It can be used to make a negative as well, so that they'll be making their negatives and their print on the same material.
Yes.
They will then, of course, need the appropriate processing chemicals to develop and fix the image that they'll produce, and dishes to work in. A red warning light, which will act as some sort of safe light, so that they can illuminate their little dark room without fogging the paper.
It's a psychorealization.
That's right.
Yes.
And black cloth and plastic and other materials to make light-tight containers and so on.
Well, let me just draw what's actually going to happen inside their camera. You imagine they have a rather simple-minded object, which is black in the middle and white on the outside. And here we have their camera, lens, the camera body, and in the back of the camera they put their photographic paper, which I'm going to draw in red here, like that. Now the image which a camera will form is going to fall on this photographic paper in the back, like that. And when the photographic paper is developed, we will find that the central section is white and the outer sections are black in this particular set. Because what they've done is that they produced a negative. Now, to make this negative into a positive, we draw the negative on here, again, rather larger. We have a central white section and outer black sections. And we're now going to put underneath it a fresh piece of sensitive paper, drawn in red again here. We shine light through it from the top, like that. And if you've got the exposure right, and when we develop the second piece of photographic paper, lo and behold, the center section will be black, and the outer two sections will be white again. So we've got our positive image back again. So there'll be two processes which you've got to do. Now, amongst the materials, of course, in addition to the special materials, they also have some of the normal egg-raised materials. For instance, tins, which are telescopic. They have incidentally also a lens to produce the objective of the camera. They have clothes pegs and rubber bands and screws and wood, and a huge cardboard box, which might be useful for making a darkroom out of.
Oh yeah, well, that's got to go right in hard, and then we pull out.
Yeah. How can we check the focusing now, though?
Check the focusing.
Through an aperture through there.
You go ahead to say you go
We're getting on well into the project now. You've opted for a 140-year-old camera design. I see the sliding box camera.
Yes. The problem we've got at the moment is focusing problem. We've just got to devise a means of focusing.
But can we have a look at you've got a dark slide at the back of you?
Yes, we have a magazine.
A magazine with room for more than one piece of paper?
Oh no, just a single sheet of paper at one time that simply...
So you load your paper underneath that shutter?
That's right.
Yes.
This is the film in here, and we then have to put the dark slide in, and then the dark slide goes into the camera.
Right, fits into the back there.
Yes.
Now you'll have to load it, of course, in the darkroom. Just step back a moment.
Yes.
You've made yourself a darkroom.
Yes, we've got a darkroom made, and we've got a door so I can get in with the dishes. All the developer and my safe light is inside. We've got a bicycle lamp as a safe light.
Yes, I see.
So we can see to load the magazine.
The back of the door.
Yes.
I'll do more light proofing on there. Okay. Is that reasonable?
Well, Jonathan, how are things going? You've got some high-class joinery here.
Yes, we
Camera's going
quite well.
Camera's going all
Yes.
right. Darkroom's being worked on.
So you're going for basically a fixed body design, or are you going to have some
No, focusing we can do with moving the lens in and out.
And with a fixed body, yes?
Yes, fixed body. And this is, we hope, light-proof, the film slide, so we can actually load the paper up before we start.
It's a deep sort of box for a sheet of paper. You're having some sort of...
Well, we had used a certain depth for the slide, and that just happened to be convenient.
Yes.
The depth is irrelevant as long as that distance is right.
So your paper will be on the back of the box.
Paper will be on the back of the box, yes.
And also this serves as the shutter.
Yes, indeed.
And for focusing, we've actually got that. Which the paper, the greaseproof, is at the same distance,
yes,
as the thing.
So
we
you've got to
put that on,
and you'll just clamp the back.
Just clamp that on, focus it, and then once we've got that, you can actually put the paper on.
And you've got your separate darkroom.
Separate darkroom.
With all mod cons, no doubt.
Letterbox for putting the film in.
Well, good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Would you please now when I say so, take the lens cap off for a 10-second exposure.
Yep.
Right.
Coming off now. 9, 10.
Thank you. When I'm ready, I'm ready, can we have a 5-second exposure?
No, you can't. Heinz wants to talk.
I want to talk to you. Are you receiving me?
Yes.
I noticed that before you had your modular camera lowered over you, that you'd got in for an ergonomic design of seating, suitable working levels and so on. Are you really quite comfortable in there?
Very comfortable in here.
Tell me, is the exposure you're making at the moment one which you're intending to reverse, that's producing a positive on the same piece of paper, or are you making a negative?
No, I'm making a negative at this time. I want to get my exposures roughly right before I do any reversal.
Because for the reversal, of course, the exposures have to be absolutely dead right to get a decent print.
Not necessarily. You can do something in the first development, but you need to have it reasonably accurate.
Well, you sound as you know exactly what you're doing. So I defer to you. Thank you very much.
All right, 5 seconds.
No, you can't.
Okay, ready for 5
No, you
seconds?
can't. There's a camera in the way.
What?
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Absolutely still, please. Watch Sticky Bird. Now. 4, 5.
Thank you.
Don't ask me to do a 25th.
Our teams appear to be getting on quite well, and we await results both printable and unprintable. In the meantime, we have an opportunity to take a rare glimpse at the inside of these rather clever machines. For instance, this machine here can take photographs at 2 different formats. You can either have a portrait format or a passport format with 4 individual photographs on the same piece of paper. Now, the way this is achieved is to have a single camera with 2 alternative lens fronts. One front contains 4 lenses, we can see, and the other front, which now moving across, only contains a single lens. Now let's look inside into the developing department, or what I might call the cookery department. Here we see that the photographic paper has been delivered from the camera and paper store into the chute here. It's now being picked up by the paper carrier, and in a moment it's dunked into one of the green tanks which contains the developer. We now stay in the developer for the appropriate time, go into a washing tank, which is a white tank, then be passed around into one of the red tanks which contain the bleach, then after it's been bleached, it's washed again, enters the yellow set of tanks where it's fixed, is washed again, and finally delivered to this output unit here as a wet positive reverse print. Now, if the door was shut, this delivery unit here would deliver the wet print into this chute here. It would stay in here and be dried by hot air with this hairdryer here. And ultimately, of course, delivered to the customer through this chute here. Simple, isn't it?
That lens is not parallel.
Let's have a look at the different approaches which have been used by the teams. First, the yellow team. The yellow team have made themselves a combined camera and darkroom. Here's their lens. It may not be quite to scale. It's a very large cardboard box. And inside the cardboard box, here's a lens here, so the object is somewhere out here. They've made it as a plate holder, which can also hold an ordinary plain piece of paper, so they can look at the image to see whether it's in focus. Then inside here, they've built a workbench, which contains their dishes of developer and so on. And there's a chap in here who tries to keep from overheating. He operates the whole camera. He develops the photographs. He makes the positive from the negative. And finally, there's a slot here through which he posts the finished product. The green team have gone in for a rather more conventional approach. They've made a simple camera, the lens in the front again, and a telescopic body. So this for focusing purposes, like that. And in the back of this, they have a contrivance, which I can't, but not clever enough to draw, but in any case, which allows them to put a piece of photographic paper at the back here, during the actual exposure. Now, they've actually rediscovered quite an early trick, which was used in the first 20 or 30 years of photography, by having left a little hole in the front of the camera, because they hadn't got a ground glass screen at the back, where they put a cork or a bung in of some kind. And to focus the camera originally, they put on a tripod in front of the subject, they put a plain piece of paper here instead of the photographic paper, and then they apply an eye, unlike an Egyptian eye here, to this aperture here, and actually look at the image. And they move the lens about until it's fully in focus, they then block this hole up with a bung, and they've got their camera which is focused. They will expose the piece of paper, they will take it away in a dark slide, they will take it to a separate darkroom, which is again a large cardboard box, and in that darkroom they will also do the printing. The red camera has also adopted a rather conventional approach, so it's really a fair bit of craftsmanship, a fair bit of carpentry. It's appreciably larger. It's got the lens mounted in here, and it's got a stop in front of the lens, because the lens itself is really much too large to give a clear image. So the focus of the image would fall off towards the corners of the negative. The whole thing is made of wood, and there are two alternative removable backs to it. There's one back which carries a piece of ground glass in it, so it can be used for focusing. And then another back which is of exactly the same thickness. This distance here is an important one, can be substituted for this. And in that back, and I'm now drawing over the top of it, they would actually store their photographic paper. They would now expose it by removing a cap from the front of the lens, like that, take it to their portable darkroom, and again convert it, if the negative and the positive, in the way which I illustrated earlier on. Our teams are very nearly ready now. Shutters are being cocked, cameras are being focused. Now the red team is going to photograph that section of the audience over there. The green team, the center section of the audience, focusing on some rather attractive ladies. And the yellow team have a peculiar privilege, that they will actually focus on that section of the audience which contains Brian and myself. So I'll now go and include myself in the picture. We try and join all three pictures together to produce a panoramic view, so there's no running around the back and trying to appear in all the pictures at the same time, because they're going to be taken simultaneously. So Brian, I'll come and join you. Now, the way we're going to mark this. The most perfect picture produced very quickly could earn 100 marks. The way we have divided these up is that Brian will judge the actual quality of the photograph and award a maximum of 50 marks for that. I'll time how long the photograph takes to do, and the fastest camera will score 25, the second fastest will score 15, and the slowest, provided it produces a picture at all, will score 5. And then there's another 25 marks, again in Brian's gift, for the actual engineering ingenuity and use of materials of the camera itself. Now, we already know from some prior experiments that the exposure times of the cameras are going to be rather different. In fact, I think they vary between 8 and 40 seconds. So in order to help the accuracy of the timekeeping for these slow exposures, we've asked the backer of the audience, who are going to be out of focus or not even in the picture, to help with a countdown, and towards the end of each exposure to chant 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and so on, so that they know when to close their shutters. Now, photographers, are you more or less prepared to start? Are you focused? Dark slides inserted? So when I just wait for it. Ready, steady, go. The red team have posted their negative to the developing laboratory. The green team are still exposing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. A rather late flash. And you notice a birdie. This was one of the surprises. You should have been watching that birdie. You notice on the yellow team their high-precision timekeeping device. It is semi-manual, I understand, nothing digital about it. It's not for nothing that they're analog devices rather than digital devices.
Okay, open the hatch.
Come on, bring it to us, bring it to us. Red team have produced the print and 2 minutes 40.
Yes.
High speed there. Certain breathless anticipation outside the green developing room. Any progress report you'd like to make to us?
How's it looking, Chris? Not too bad.
Good.
Just fixing. Just washing. Washing it very quickly. I now have a drying problem on the wall of the dark room. This is the problem, to get all the water off.
Ah, well, extra marks for drier prints.
Hold the top down.
Hold the top down. Coming in.
The yellow team have just, having examined, I think, or perhaps reloaded something. It's 3 minutes 38. Oh, they're making another photograph.
Cap back on.
Doing a stereo pair.
Timing now, BK.
It's going to be quite a needle match between
10 seconds in the fixer.
the yellow and the green.
Give me another 10.
I will now expose it with my torch. 1, 2.
How are you doing now, Chris? Nearly finished?
I'm just developing the final print.
Great. How's it looking?
Great.
Good.
It's ready. Would somebody take it?
Come on, run to it. At 5 minutes 37, yellow team, and we're still waiting for a result. Yes, still in the
Turned into some sort of ghost.
blob. And at 5:54, green team. Brian, I think we should expose these to a degree of public criticism now, shouldn't
Yes,
we?
indeed, yes.
Well, let me start off. Now, gentlemen, I'd like you to look at these two pictures here. We'll tell you which team is which. I think it's the two of you who are in the top one. Do you recognize yourselves? I think your moustaches
Certainly,
come on
oh
rather
yes.
nicely.
Yes, I recognise myself very well, yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, how about the bottom one? There's a certain amount of air of gloom about the bottom photograph. They're all three of you on that, aren't they?
It's slightly sharper than the top one, I feel.
No, I wouldn't say so, not of me. Speak for yourself.
It's the centre of the field's better than the edge of the field, isn't it?
But anyway, they're recognizable photographs.
Certainly.
How about your models, Brian?
Well, I'm on this one too. I'm just about recognisable. Heinz, I have some doubts about, but we'll better not go on with that. Adam, you're next to me. What do you think? Can you see yourself there?
Yes, I can recognise myself. I think the two in the centre are sharper than those at the front.
Well, naturally, that's you and I. What could be more natural? Good. Well, let's ask these young men in the front too. They've appeared.
I think the back is very clear, but the front, It's not so clear how's the back.
So, yes, you, still I think I can recognise you.
Yes, but I can recognise me very well.
Good. There we are.
Well, Brian, I think for us to judge them and see them at their best, we should really get them mounted on some soft, stiff cardboard. Would you like the graphics department to mount them? Thank you. And now for the marks. We start with the yellow team. Brian, you're the expert on quality.
Yes, it's been a very difficult task indeed to separate the three teams, but I think in terms of quality, the yellow team deserve 35 for their picture.
Now, as far as speed is concerned, they came second and get 15 marks for being second. And in terms of the engineering sophistication of their camera, Brian?
Well, it was a fairly basic concept, a large box with a man inside. While it worked very well, it probably doesn't have too much future in terms of the general use by the general public. So perhaps 17 for the engineering.
So the yellow team score a total of 67 marks. Well done. Now let's go on to the green team. Again on quality, Brian?
Their print was a little dark compared with the others, although it was sharp, but one has to make the comparison, so I think perhaps 27 for...
Yes, so to be fair, we've seen prints since then, which
oh,
were
yes,
very much better.
Indeed. The system worked, but it was just the hard luck of the draw on the night, as it were.
Now, they came third in the speed trial, so they only score 5 on that account. And in engineering?
Well, I liked their camera because although it was pretty basic and made of cardboard, it really was a reconstruction of the very first cameras made by Fox Talbot. So I'll give them 18 for that.
So the total score for the green team is 50. Again, well done. And lastly, for the red team. Again, good quality?
Well, I think 35 for the red team. Their picture was very attractively composed and really quite a creditable result. So 35.
Now, they won the speed trial. In fact, they won it by an astonishing margin that they produced their picture in 2 minutes 40 seconds against the runner-up of 5 minutes 37 seconds. So they had a very much faster process, in fact, faster than the automatic machine. So they scored 25 on speed.
And from the engineering point of view, theirs was the most substantial camera with a little bit of polishing up. It would be a perfectly usable camera outdoors, indoors, or wherever. So I think 20 for that. It was a very good job indeed.
So this means that the red team scores a magnificent total of 80 marks. So we should congratulate LBMS Consultants as being the winners of this week's egg race. Let me thank Brian Coe for being such a super judge, and please join us again for another snappy edition of the egg race next week. Good night.
Right, that seemed to be very good. I think I'll go for a 90-second exposure because the other one wasn't bleaching very properly. Could you take the lens cap off, please? I said, could you take the lens cap off, please? Hello? Hello? Anybody out there? Hello? Is anybody there?